Heavy rainfall and severe weather will continue to inundate the southeast, the deep south, and central U.S., and the northeast this morning and into the weekend. And it probably will ruin some of the Memorial Day weekend plans. We need the rainfall in the southeast, but geez, we're getting a lot, especially in the deep south, more than we really need. The northeast, you can see from the water vapor loop how much moisture and water vapor in the atmosphere right now. Look at the upper level water vapor. You see the greens here and deeper blues. That's a lot of moisture in the upper levels, just all over the place out here in central, southern U.S., southeast, and into the northeast as well this morning. Lots of stuff going on today. So jumping right into the excessive rainfall outlook for today. The highest risk of excessive rainfall is down here in parts of southern Texas here. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit with this, move it up. Near Nuevo Laredo, just to the south of San Antonio, along the line just to the south of Shreveport, Louisiana, parts of southern Mississippi, and eastern Louisiana. So that means the potential is there for excessive rainfall, heavy rain exceeding flash flood guidance within 25 miles of given location. So they've had a lot of rain down in this area. So a little bit of heavy rain could go a long way towards the flooding concerns. The marginal risk extends all the way up through Missouri, Arkansas, back through parts of Mississippi, and into other parts of Texas. And another marginal risk in parts of central Georgia, eastern Georgia, into northeast Georgia, into parts of South Carolina, North Carolina as well, and into parts of the Ohio Valley and Mississippi Valley also today. Now, let's look at tomorrow's. You see the risk moves a little bit further to the east here, with a marginal risk right along the slight risk right along the Gulf Coast. Sorry about that. Marginal risk extending all the way up. Let's zoom this out to Virginia and Pennsylvania, through parts of North Carolina, South Carolina, into central Georgia once again, northern Georgia, most of Alabama, most of Mississippi, and most of Louisiana are in this risk, as well as parts of Texas. So the heavy rainfall will continue here. Day 3, which is Monday, Memorial Day, going to be a washout here, I think, in the Atlanta metro and parts of South Carolina and up into Tennessee, parts of a small part of Tennessee and Kentucky here maybe. Knoxville, Tennessee, no, it's just a small part of the Tennessee hard terrain. This is mostly hard terrain induced, right? But even the Atlanta area is on the books for 15% risk of excessive rainfall. A larger marginal risk going all the way out to Virginia, Kentucky, parts of Kentucky here, covering all of Tennessee, a good portion of Arkansas, a little portion of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and surrounding states. So quite a wide area of potential rainfall into Monday. Geez, man, look at this. I thought that outlook was wide. Look at the large area of excessive rainfall potential again, covering most of the southeast, with the exception of Florida and southern Georgia, and along the southeast coast, all the way back to Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, once again. I'm going to zoom this out, not to exclude anybody, with a bullseye back here, a 15% risk back setting on San Antonio and Texas once again. Okay, so man, now the threat moves further to the east once again, setting over Houston, Texas, so 15% risk. This is Tuesday, right? Let's see, 3. This is day 5, Wednesday. Okay, so day 3 is Monday, day 4 is Tuesday. This is Wednesday. Today's day 1, 2. Really screwing up the days in my head here. Sorry about that. A large area of excessive rainfall going out to Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, once again, Tennessee, parts of North Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas. Like a broken record here. Lots of rainfall over a long period of time. Really beneficial if we can get some more in the south here. We'll see how this pattern evolves in the coming days, but expecting unsettled weather for the south for foreseeable future here. As far as severe weather, well, we got a lot of areas here of marginal risk all along the Gulf Coast here, from Texas to Louisiana and parts of Mississippi, back here in northern Texas, eastern New Mexico, western Oklahoma, parts of a small part of southeast Kansas, and southwest Kansas and southeast Colorado, central Georgia, northwestern North Georgia, and South Carolina, and up here in Ohio as well, with a large area of general thunderstorms otherwise, and back in Nevada also. Tornado risk is quite low today, right along the Gulf Coast and in the Ohio Valley, a small area here, centered basically Columbia, Mansfield area, and and right along the coast, Beaumont, Houston, Lafayette, New Orleans, all in the threat area for today. So what does that mean? 2% risk of a relatively weak tornado within 25 miles of a given location. So not a big risk there today. Hail risk is mostly confined out west here to the western threat area in northern Texas and surrounding area and southern Texas. Wind risk up here in Georgia, you have a marginal rain risk, which means a 5% chance in any of these brown areas, right? Georgia and the southern mode and the western mode of this, 5% chance of winds exceeding 50 knots within 25 miles of a given location. Any storms that become can really get going if we get some instability in the atmosphere and lift with a short wave moving through here, potential for that to occur. Now moving to tomorrow, let's go back to the categorical risk here. We have a marginal risk of severe weather. Once again, looks like another short wave move through the flow up here that may induce some severe weather chances up in Nebraska, parts of Iowa, Minnesota, and South Dakota, with a large area of general thunderstorms. Look at all this, right? Most of the South, the Mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, Iowa, back towards Kansas, Colorado, most of Texas here, all on the Gulf Coast, even Florida, even the Intermountain West, even the California mountainous terrain may get some thunderstorms tomorrow. Tornado risk quite low, less than 2% tomorrow. You already have a chance, a hash chance, 5% hash of 2-inch hail here. Marginal risk, 2-inch hail. So any storms that do go severe could produce 2-inch hail in diameter in this threat area tomorrow. Winds look to be marginally severe, 5% chance of 50-knot winds within 25 miles of a given location on Memorial Day. So going into day 3, look at that. No severe outlook on the map just yet, but general overall thunderstorms anywhere you look, see the green on this map. And now we have this system moving into the out west here, which I'll go over next in the flow, 500 millibar flow, and my analysis of that next. So here's the overall 500 millibar flow, and I think this represents it pretty awesome here. This is just an amazing representation. I spent a lot of time trying to get this to work. But you can see with the animation when we start this out, we go back to the beginning here. We got a trough offshore up here. This trough, 500 millibar low, scooting out of the picture, and we got a short wave moving through the flow. Some short waves moving through the flow here. It's bringing in different disturbances in the atmosphere. But this short wave up here, this is 5 a.m. Some lift associated with it. And you got different lifting mechanism, enhanced flow here as well. I know my pen's kind of big here, and this moving off, right? Now, we move this through a little bit further. This trough generally shifts off to the north and east. You see a trough is left behind here, and this is the 24th, which is tomorrow, right? You go through time, 25th, 26th. So that's roughly, let's see, Tuesday. So into Tuesday, you see large scale ridging building back here, right? The trough in the eastern US. You see this trough on the west coast here on Tuesday, right? So this is going to drop down to the south here, at least according to GFS, and this ridge is going to spike up here. And another mid-level feature is going to come into the northeast here and bring unsettled weather up here. Sorry, bro, for the foreseeable future, my brother's doing a shoot up here around the 30th in Plymouth area. I think it's going to be very unsettled here. So let's move this through time a little more. And that was Tuesday. Wednesday, see this large-scale flow remains unsettled from the northeast here, and this mid-level feature moving in the flow here, the 28th, which is Thursday. We definitely have some severe weather as this moves down to the south. You see another trough offshore here on the west coast. Okay, can you move through with this into the 30th? Right, this is Saturday. Sorry, this trough is really digging here, so definitely unsettled weather here. Severe weather potential, I think, ramps up here again in the central U.S. if this ends up happening. Okay, we'll have to see how this evolves, but you got a trough here, pretty strong mid-level feature, just keep rotating through the flow here. Another one out west, and another low, mid-level low offshore here. Okay, see this trough keeps digging in the eastern U.S. Gonna be nasty up here. Okay, cold, rainy, and generally unsettled weather. Also, this trough remains in the eastern U.S., well, not the eastern, the central U.S., and we have another trough just offshore here. So that ridge is kind of undercut here in general, with general troughiness remaining here even in the eastern seaboard here as a result of this system here. All right, so that's the end of this run. This is the 30th, which is Saturday, a week from now. You can see in general, we're going to have unsettled weather with maybe some warmer temperatures to start with in the middle part of the week in the central U.S., but return to unsettled weather pretty quickly here as we get towards the end of the week. I'm kind of excited. I'm hoping to see some supercells out here in Colorado. Maybe they'll pan out. It'd be nice. I'm going out here on Monday. So I'll send some pictures if y'all want to see them, but I'll post them on my pages and stuff. If I get any, I'll put them up there. So that's the 500 millibar flow. I hope it made sense what I explained here. Again, to review, unsettled to start the period for the southeast and the central U.S. and the northern U.S., north central and the eastern U.S. It looks like that pattern will continue for the south and northeast. Maybe some less active weather for a little while in the central part of the country, but then return to unsettled weather as we get towards the middle and end of next week.